Shalom Aleichem. Today we have a lesson from HaRav Yaakov Galinsky, Zatzal, from his Sefer, Vehigadita. Let's take a look at it. This is the Sefer, Vehigadita, on Shemos. Rabbi Yaakov Galinsky, Zatzal. Anyway, Shekel HaKodesh. This is from the Parshas of Sisa. Ze yitnu kol ha'over al ha'pikudim machatzis ha'shekel b'shekel ha'kodesh esrim geiro ha'shekel machatzis ha'shekel truma l'Hashem. Whoever goes on by the gate, should give. There was like a gate there, and the people went by it, and they have to give half of a shekel. The counting, b'shekel HaKodesh, of the holy shekel. Esrim Geiro, that's the measurement. 20 Geiro HaShekel, machatzis HaShekel, Truma l'Hashem. Half of a shekel was what is given to Hashem, Truma, what is given to Hashem. Shemos Lamed Yud Gimel. Because of Rambam writes, Kov lo Moshe Rabbeinu matbeya kesef b'Yisrael. Moshe Rabbeinu established a certain coin in Yisrael, in Israel, by the Jewish people, by the Yidden. Ki melech gadol hoya, he was a great king. V'kora lematbeya hahu shekel, and he called that matbeya, that coin, a shekel. It was called a shekel. Va'avor shekol hamatbeya b'mishkol shalem, because the coin was in the Mishkal Shalom. It was a full measure. It was a weight of full measure. Ein bo pachos. None of them were missing any of the weight. Velo kesef sigim. So none of it was missing any weight. It was a very uniform. Every one was the same. V'hinei amru, it said Bechoros, hey Amud Aleph, in the Gemara of Bechoros, hey Amud Aleph, Shemona shel Kodesh kaful hoya, that a mona, that's a certain measurement of Kodesh, of holy, that was holy, kaful hoya, it was doubled. V'yesh lo havin, we have to understand this. Lama kova hakasav sheshikli hakodesh yiyu kefulim. Why do we have to say that these holy shekalim have to be kefulim, that they are, each one is doubled? V'kava litain, and v'kava we established litain machatzis hashekel, that you have to give half of the shekel. In other words, the shekel is a double, and you give half of the shekel. B'shekel HaKodesh, of the holy shekel. In other words, you give half of the shekel. Yomar sh'yitein kol echad shekel shalem rogil. To tell us that each one should give a complete shekel. Shekel shalem, a whole shekel. Machzis a shekel, and it's doubled, that, which means that everyone has to give a complete shekel, rogil. Nifloim divrei ha'or ha'chayim. The words of the Or HaChaim HaKadosh Zatzal are very. The Or HaChaim, he was a meforish on the Chumash, so it's very, very nifloim. It's very amazing. Shemachatzis ha'shekel bo'o l'rameiz shemi she'enu osek b'Torah mechaper al nafsho bekach shechotzehu es kaspo urevochov chetzio lo v'chetzio lelamdei haTorah. So the Or HaChaim HaKodesh says that a machzis hashekel comes to teach us that somebody that does not engage in Torah study as much as he should, he's able to atone for this by splitting up what he makes in half. So in other words, chetzio lo, half of it should be to him, the chetzio lelamdei Torah, and half of it he should give to the people that learn Torah. Bevechinas Yisachar Zvulun, in a way like Yisachar and Zvulun, the same type of situation. So V'Shimon Achai Azariah, and Shimon the brother of Azariah. Sota Chaf Aleph Amid Aleph. So that was also a partnership. Shimon Achai Azariah. Shimon the brother of Azariah. One was learning Torah and one was working. V'cholek imo b'scharo, and then they split the schar. The schar means the reward. The reward of learning is shared. In other words, Yisachar would gives half of his schar of learning. Yisachar would go and learn Torah all day long, and Zvulun would go out with the ships and do business. He would do whatever it is. He would get merchandise and buy and sell, and then Yisachar would be learning. So Zvulun would be supporting Yisachar. So Yisachar would give half of his learning, the merit, to Zvulun. And the same thing with Shimon Achai Azariah, Shimon the brother of Azariah. The Cholek imo b'scharo. Then they share the reward also. Kemosha Amar ki betzeil hachachma, betzeil hakosef. It says in Koheles, in Ecclesiastes, Zion Yud Beis, that in the shadow of chachma, in the shadow of wisdom, B'tzeil HaKosef, in the shadow of silver, in the shadow of silver. In other words, the one that's doing business can go and support the person that's learning Torah. So it's the B'tzeil HaChachma, B'tzeil HaKosef, the shadow of the wisdom of the Torah, and the shadow of the Kosef, of the Kesef, the silver. In other words, he's supporting that person who is learning. So he's getting the half of the schar, half of the merit of the learning. And you can't say that the person that is learning is giving away some of his schar, of his merit. Elo shokal hakodesh kafel hoya. Elo shekel hakodesh kafel hoya. The shekel hakodesh was doubled. In other words, he is still keeping all of his merits, and the one that's learning the Torah is keeping all of his merits, and the one that's going out and doing business and supporting the one that's learning is also keeping all of the merit too. In other words, it's being shared by the two of them. The merit is being shared by two of them, and so in other words, the one that's learning does not give up anything of his merit, and the one that's supporting him is getting all the merit also. It's very good all around. So everyone is gaining here. So we find out that everyone has in his hands a complete shekel. V'nazkir ma shesipar hagon hatzadik Rabbi Yerucham Emir Zatzal, what the Gaon, the Tzaddik Rabbi Yerucham Emir said, Zatzal, Das Torah, this is in Das Torah, Bereshis Daled Aleph, V'zol Shono. This is his language that he uses, that he says, Hoyisi Pa'am Eitzel Agon HaTzadik Rabbi Naftali Amsterdam, He was by the Gaon the Tzaddik Rabbi Naftali Amsterdam Zatzal. V'sipur lefanav of Maseh b'yechad she'omar le'reyehu. He said in front of him somebody that a story that somebody said to his friend. Ata mevakesh she'eseh lecho zos v'zos. He's asking that he will do him. He's asking a certain favor. Hine yim titen li chelek mechelkecho la'olam haba. If that person gives him a portion of his portion is in olam haba, in the world to come, then he'll do that favor. Oz eseh ma she'ata mevaksheni. Then he will do the favor that he asked him. The friend did not agree. Because he was afraid that he didn't want to give up any of his portion in olam haba. Rabbi Naftali, when Rabbi Naftali heard, he answered him, that person does not understand. He's an ignorant person. What do you care if your friend will also have a certain chelek, a portion? There will be enough for you also. In other words, don't worry if part of the deal is giving up part of the olam haba. You will still have everything that's coming to you. Don't worry about it. You're not giving up any of your chelek, V'zeh inyan. This is the inyan of Samach Zvulun b'tzeisecha v'yisachar b'yoalecha. Zvulun should be joyous in going out to the seas and doing business. V'yisachar b'yoalecha, and Yisachar should be very joyous in his learning and staying in the Ohel Shel Torah, the tent of Torah, and learning, and both of them should be happy. Devarim Lamed Gimel Yudches. Zavulun Vadai Roi Sheyismach. Zavulun, of course he should be. It's a question here. Zavulun Vadai Roi Sheyismach. It's certainly he should be happy. Oseh Parakmatya Umarviach Olam Haba. He does his business, and he's gaining olam haba also. Aval b'ma yismach Yisachar. Why should Yisachar be happy? Im mafsidhu chatzi meha olam haba shelo. If he is going to be lacking chas v'shalom half of the olam haba that he has, God forbid, why should he be happy? Al korchacha she'enu mafsid klum. So, in other words, if you're saying that they should be happy, so we come to the we're forced to the conclusion that he's not lacking anything. Shekel HaKodesh. This is Shekel HaKodesh. Hu mechupol zeh lozeh. Mechupol zeh lozeh. Shekel HaKodesh is doubled, one with the other. V'zeh omek divrei HaChavetz Chaim. This is the going to the deepness of the words of the Chavetz Chaim Zatzal. Shem Olam Chelek Aleph Perek Yud. Shemati al Gedol Hador Echad Sheishiv Leishto Lefnei Misaso Kishebiksha Mimenu Sheyitein Lo Chelek Ba'olam Haba. He heard then one of the Gedolei Hador is one of the great people of that generation. His wife asked him to give her part of his olam haba, part of his world to come, because of his Torah and mitzvos, b'toraso u'mitzvosav. Heishiv la ma lach levaksheni b'inyan chelek. What do you have to ask me for a portion? K'sheyihye li gam lecha yihye, gam lach yihye. When there will be for me, there will be for you also. Since she's the one that made it everything possible for him. Kivan sha'at siyasni la'avodas Hashem. You're the one that helped me with doing this avodas Hashem, of serving of Hashem. Okemo ba'olam hazesh kisha balhu asher gam ishto ashira. And the same thing is when in this world, when the When the husband is a rich man, so the wife is also a rich woman, because she shares whatever he has. V'yem chas v'shalom lo yihye li, and if chas v'shalom, God forbid, there won't be, they don't have gam loch lo yihye, then to you also there won't be. So in other words, there's no question about getting a part of it. If there is for the husband, there is for the wife. When the husband is a poor person, the wife is also a poor person. When the husband is rich, so the wife is also rich, not because that she has half of whatever he has and he has half, that they're sharing it like that. Because both of them have everything. They have the same amount. And here's more learning, another story of what Rav Galinsky is saying. Here we can learn it. This can be learned. So we have this part of the Devar Torah of HaRav Yaakov Galinsky. This is from Parshas Sisa. So in other words, when shekel HaKodesh, the shekel, the holy shekel. So what does it mean? So this is that everyone gets part of the shekel. Everyone gets parts, and the Orach Chaim says that somebody that has not learned so much, give portions to the people that do learn Torah, and that can be like a tikkun. That can be like that can fix it up. That if one didn't learn, and then one can learn Torah on one's own, of course, too. So I'm not sure if it means that you give half of it, because they say when you give to tzedakah, you don't give more than a fifth or a sixth of your property. Otherwise, you yourself can, God forbid, become a poor person. But you give a portion, like a nice amount. There's a certain amount that one gives, and give to causes that teach Talmidim the Torah. Okay, thank you very much. And here's a picture of the Chafetz Chaim. We mentioned the Chafetz Chaim here. Here it is. And this is the work of HaRav Yaakov Galinsky. That's how. This is Vehigadita on Shemos, and I'm pretty sure that it's in Hebrew also. Vehigadita. Seid gesund. Thank you very much.